Hello and welcome to my top 10 tips for One Step from Eden. We're going to be looking at all the best ways to get you to Eden and defeat him. Tip number 1 is going to be based around status effects, and all of these tips will of course be down below. We'll be looking at Frost, Trinity, Flow, Fragile, and Poison. Of course, I'll have a few videos to look over while we do it, so without further ado, here we go. As you can see, Frost above shows 2 little symbols and 2 symbols below them, and once they take a third Frost, they take 100 damage. Trinity works whenever you have 2 Trinity, your spells will be activated, so that you can do your Trinity abilities off of 2, not 3. Flow works a little bit differently, as Flow has an on-flow status. And once you have the green swirls underneath you, you are on-flow and your next ability can use its on-flow ability. After that, we have Fragile. Fragile can be seen as the broken glass below the opponent, and this makes them take 1.5 times damage. You can also make an opponent take Fragile by using spells and abilities. After that, we have Poison. You can see the opponent take 45 poison damage, but if the skull does not complete its rotation, they will not take any damage at all. So you must be really careful whenever you're applying poison damage to your opponents so that you're not just stacking it on there and they're never taking damage. Of course, there are a few other status effects like Root, Shield, Crack, Conserve, and Anchor, but these are pretty much self-explanatory. Tip number 2 is you want to decide what you want to focus on, but don't be afraid to pivot if you get the right spells. Comfort is key. You can even focus on your deck at the very top about what you want to see more often. That way you can get the right kind of cards that you're looking for, or the right kind of spells. The other thing that you can look at for deck synergies are your artifacts. By going to your deck and pressing to the left, you can look at what artifacts you have and what special synergies that those can also have with the deck that you're building. Tip number 3 is all about zones and their bosses and dark zones. So down in the bottom right, it says 06 Terra. It could say Terra Dark. And what that would mean is that you have a harder zone on your hands and that even the shop is going to take HP instead of the normal currency. These are going to be tough areas, so watch out for that. Watch out for that shopkeeper in her red eyes. She really scares me, man. Tip number 4, you don't always have to take a reward. You can skip rewards. Having too many cards can make it tough to get the synergies that you want, as well as some artifacts just not working with what you're trying to do. Remember, this is technically a deck builder, so you don't want to bloat your hand too much. Tip number 5. Tip number 5 is Shuffle will always have good uses. Sometimes you'll feel stuck with a spell or two during a fight that you can't get the momentum to use. In Shuffle, focus on dodging, because in that moment, you're going to feel like you can't do anything at all. And a lot of these moments happen to me still, and I've been playing for at least 10 hours. Tip number 6, you can see the spells above your head. For the first few runs I did, I was always looking at the bottom left for what spells I had, and I was never looking above my head. It'll also glow and show you whenever your spells have their prerequisites met, and they can do their special abilities. This is really important as you get later on and everything starts to get really hectic and you start having to memorize what spells look like. Number 7. Is the item borders. Now it took me a second to realize what was going on here, but these item borders are for rarity, and there are white, blue, purple, orange or gold or whatever color that is, and rainbow. And if you get one of these gold or orange or rainbow colors really early on, it can help sway the tide of things, as I was talking about, as far as what you want to build into and what you want to decide to do with your deck. Moving on to tip number 8, and that's your upgrades. So when you upgrade a spell, you choose from 3 different options. These options are random each time you upgrade, and upgrades can be used on the same item at an increased cost. And you can always buy more at the shop, but each time you buy one, it's going to cost more and more and more, at least 10 more each time. Tip number 9, the stats on the deck screen. At the very bottom below remove a spell, you can see a sword, a shield, a fireball, and a lucky clover. The sword is your base attack damage bonus. The shield is your defense, which lowers overall damage taken. The fireball adds to your spell damage. It gives you spell bonus damage. The 4-leaf clover is luck, which raises your chance of getting those higher rarity items, and it also raises the difficulty of the game. Now this is slowly gained over a run, so you don't have to worry about really picking it up. The last thing down there is mana per second, which is based off of many factors, as well as your deck size. Right next to Frostbolt, you can see a 0.1 added to your mana per second. So building a large deck does have a little bit of a bonus, but it's pretty much a detriment. The final tip I have for you, tip number 10, is all about unlocking characters. Now I didn't know this one. Twitch chat had to tell me, so this one goes out to you, Twitch chat. To unlock a character, you must defeat them in either 3-0 or onward, and your run starts at 0-0, meaning that you have to get to the 4th world or beyond. I hope all these tips and tricks really help you get to Eden. Good luck, and I hope you can get one step closer to Eden. Take it easy. Peace, guys.